July is going to be a very interesting month. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizard of the Reads, and as always guys, I am Andrew. Today we're here to talk about what I'm going to be reading in July of 2023, but before we get started, please like this video and subscribe to the channel as it does help the channel grow, and while you're doing all of that, you can check the description box down below for information about my Patreon, links to the Wizardly Duo Discord, links to my Pango books, and all my other social media. So I got a lot of books to talk about. I've got SPFBO stuff, I've got Patron reads to do, and we should probably just dive right on in with SPFBO 9. Specifically, I am judging for Phase 1 on Team Bookborn, and I have already read 2 of my 6 allocated books. But we're not here to talk about those other 2. We're here to talk about these 2. And the first one we are doing is, I can't pronounce it, it's Liath, I always say Liath Luchara, like it's like, I don't know, like lucha wrestling, and it's not. It is Irish-inspired historical fantasy by Brian O'Sullivan, and I will be reading that one, I think, first, in terms of what I'll be reading for my allocation that month. And the next one is called Demons and Battle Skirts, and I forget the name of the author. Hold on, let's pull that up. Belinda Crawford. There we go. So Demon and Battle Skirts. Those will be the 2 books that I am reading this month of July for SPFBO. Then the 2 that I don't own physically, we need to get those out of the way as well. And I'm very excited for these. Okay, I'm going to try and pronounce it. It's Dumagoy Krmayaj. I told you by the time I got to the 4th book of Mother of Learning, I'd be able to pronounce Dumagoy Krmayaj. And I think I've nailed it this time. But I will be finally closing out Arc 4 of Mother of Learning. It's been a fantastic journey. I've enjoyed each entry just a little bit more. And it already started out fantastic. So if you haven't started Mother of Learning, I highly recommend the audiobooks. Now, the first 30% of the first book is rough. But that's just by design. And then from there, it's pure magic. Pure delight. Well worth your time. And then I will be returning to the Mage Errant with the 3rd book. I don't have the name in my brain right now, but this is by Jonathan Bierce. I have taken a bit of a break from Mage Errant, just kind of going ooh squirrel and just taste testing a whole bunch of different types of progression fantasies. Like I did Reincarnation by Michael Head. I did Mother of Learning. I finished out Cradle. I think I even went and did Traveler's Gate. And it's time to come back to Mage Errant because I believe the Mage Errant arc is done with book 7, which just came out. Audible had an amazingly huge sale, and I was able to pick up each audiobook for like $4. $4 to like $4.50 a piece. So I went and bought, because I've already listened to 1 and 2, and these are done by one of my favorite narrators. I'm gonna put it right there. Ralph Lister. There we go, Ralph Lister. Oh, whew. Okay. So, I didn't put it right there because I remembered. I'm pretty sure it's Ralph Lister. I'll check afterwards. And we'll see what editing Andrew has to say. That's his problem. But I loved the first Mage Errant book. And the second one was really good. It wasn't mind-blowing for me, but I'm hoping for a return to form in book 3. One of my friends and my boss loves Mage Errant. He's the one who recommended it to me. So he's recommended to me a lot of my favorites. Drew Hayes was recommended to me by him. So I'm very confident that Mage Errant is going to blow my socks off. Now we should do the patron stuff. And I've got a couple patron things. So basically every other month on the Patreon, I have a wheel for my Wizard Adepts and up. They each get to put a book on this list if they so choose. It doesn't have to be on my TBR. I spin the wheel. Now this one was on my TBR, but fairly low on my TBR just because I think it's like middle grade YA. But it still sounds really cool. And I spun the wheel, and this month it landed on Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. I dropped a book! Oh no! And this is illustrated, so this is an illustrated edition, but basically, from what I understand, this is an alternate history steampunk World War I adventure novel. No, I could have that wrong, but I mean, I will fly through this. Look how liberal that text is. So this will be a very quick read for me, but this was Palmer Pickering put this, not only gifted this to me, but put this on my radar. And if I like this one, I just might have the next 2 as well. Not in this month, but I do have them on the shelf. So now I gotta pick up the book that I dropped. And of course, we have, from my good friend Y Stitch, Dawn Thief by James Barclay. This was recommended to me by Stephen Arian. I was talking to him about his books, and then we started talking about David Gemmell. And he's like, hey, if you like my work and you like David Gemmell's work, you really need to check out James Barclay because it's a lot like David Gemmell. And this is Chronicles of the Raven, and I think this is like a band of mercenaries. We've got some elves. I've got all 6 books. There's 2 trilogies. I've got all 6 in this giant paperback size. And it's been on my shelf for quite a while, so I'm very happy to be giving this a shot, because if you're inspired by David Gemmell, I'm probably going to like your book. Probably. Maybe not definitely, but there's a strong chance I'm going to like your book. Alright, so speaking of more Patron stuff, I should have held this up too. We constantly read series, trilogies, standalones, and we're just cycling through that. And right now we are working on Stephen Arian's first trilogy, and up next is Blood Mage. Now, at the time of recording, I have just started Battle Mage. I'm about 3 or 4 chapters in, and it's an amazing experience. I'm just to see where Stephen Arian started from is fantastic. So I'm very excited for Blood Mage, and yeah, that's all I really got to tell you right now because I'm still working on Battle Mage. But I've gotten back into the habit of reading one Stephen King book a month, and this is either my buddy, Mike's fault or my buddy Jake's fault, but I've been enjoying that. Last month I read Duma Key, and that was an amazing experience. It scared the pants off of me, but it was a good, like, for some reason, like, demons and werewolves and vampires doesn't scare me. Once you make it a ghost story, apparently that's what gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't know. But I have been wanting to read Dr. Sleep since this book was announced. Because in college, my first round, my first stab at college, I read The Shining. And it has stuck with me since I was 18. I've loved The Shining. I've got a copy of The Shining on the shelf. And this is the sequel to The Shining, and I've heard both great things about the movie and great things about the book. And so I'm very excited to get to Dr. Sleep because I've been really, really wanting to return to the Overlook, or, just see what he's been doing with his shine all these years. So we'll see. But I very much, like, if I have the time, would love to fit in this Stephen King book. Then we've got just a couple things left. So I did a short about a week ago announcing that we are doing a Bound in the Broken read-along in the Weasley Duo Discord. Now, you can find the link to the Weasley Duo Discord in the description box down below. Please feel free to jump in. I have read these 2 before. Here's what I intend to do, because on the audio, these are bundled together. We have got The Fall, which is a prequel set. Oh, what was it? Like 100 years before of Blood and Fire. I could be wrong about that. It's been a minute. But, yeah. So, Of Blood and Fire is the beginning of the epic fantasy by Ryan Cahill. I've read this one, but I needed a refresher before I started the rest of this. Before I started the rest of the series, we've got novellas. We've got all that. I haven't fully worked out the schedule for this read-along. I don't know where we're going to slot in all the novellas. They're not going to get their dedicated months, though. So, it may just be all smushed together. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be a fun time, and I highly recommend you jump in and join us, because books are more fun when we can discuss them with friends. Then I got 2 books left to talk about. Now, I will be taking part in the read-along of the Daughter of the Empire trilogy by Raymond E. Feist and Janie Wirtz that is being hosted on the Library of Alexandria's Discord. I'm very excited. I have been waiting for about a year to get to this series, and now that there's a read-along for this book, I'm so excited. I loved Magician. I loved Cycle of Fire. And you put those 2 authors together, and I'm sure we've got magic. This was highly recommended by my buddy Patrick, a year and a half, 2 years ago, when he was reading it, and he was just having a blast. And that's when I picked up my copies. This is based off of his recommendation. And now it's time. It's finally time, and I could not be more excited. And then here's a book that I have been wanting to read, like desperately wanting to read. And essentially, this is basically a story in which where people die, all of their writings disappear with them. And if you know, you know. This is Michael Roberti's The Traitors We Are. And I have, ever since this was announced, I know my buddy Andrew D. Meredith really enjoyed this book, author of The Collation Cycle, and it's been calling to me from my shelf. It's made it into my stack of to be read 3 times, and it's always edged out by other obligations. So this is something that I'm putting on there for me. I want to read this. I want to know. And I believe Book 2, Graves of Us All, is coming out here soon. And he also has a prequel set in this world as well. So this is going on the TBR for me. That's going to be my, I don't know, treat to myself. That's all I've really got for you today, guys. That is what I am planning to read in July. Please let me know in the comments section down below what you intend to read. And as always, guys, that's all I really got for you. So until next time, peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.